You haven't explained about evolution, you explained about the data.
I said the strong correlations between species and fossils, and the strong correlations in DNA records as well.
That is because of spaghetti monster. Do you not understand it?
Where would that come in the equation?
Where does evolution come into the equation?
No. Where does the spaghetti monster come
It's
into
the
the
cause.
equation?
Cause.
How? Why would you say that?
Okay, so when I see something happening, these things won't just happen by itself, would it? You need a cause for that.
Right. Well,
Do you
I
think
we
it
must be humble and just not assume that something's caused something.
So basically,
we need some sort of evidence to make a probable calculation.
So are you
we
saying
don't know everything, but we can still make probable calculations?
So nothing
based on what
caused
we
it.
do know.
So nothing caused this process.
I said it's the strongest probable cause.
So there is a cause. That's my point. So there is a cause, and I'm attributing this cause to flying spaghetti monster. Because you don't accept it, you have an alternative cause. So I would like to examine your cause, just like you have all the right to examine my cause. So your cause is, tell me, does it have a brain? Does your cause do these effects? Because cause is the one that does the effects, right? The effects of change from one to another. Right. Does your cause have consciousness?
I don't know what that's got to do with
So your cause is doing something without realizing it's doing it.
I'm not sure where you're going with this.
You see, you're not really thinking on the question itself. You're thinking about, I've never spoke to someone like this. I've never heard in the Talk Origins archive or Richard Dawkins' books. They don't mention any kind of this interaction. Speaker's Corner is a very good place to actually check your assumptions. So when we talk about this belief about which you have, you're attributing a cause to these effects that you observe. I'm just saying the causes that you've attributed already, let's examine the nature of that cause. I give you an alternative cause, is the flying spaghetti monster, not the walking one, the flying one.
But where's the evidence for that then?
So the evidence is beyond your grasp because you cannot touch it, feel it, see it, hear it. It's beyond your evidence, which is what we call empirical evidence. So is your cause within the scope of evidence that we can say yes? Your cause, yes, I can somehow accept it because I can feel it, hear it, touch it, see it, smell it, or I can actually grasp it. The cause that you attribute to.
I tell you about fossils and DNA records.
No, that's the data.
You just say flying spaghetti.
You see, we're not discussing. I don't think you understood it. The data is what we observe. Fossils. I observed it, and you observed it.
Right.
And I say the reason this happened is because of this cause, and I give you my cause behind this data.
Okay.
You also have a cause that you attribute to these effects.
Right.
For example, when the wallet fell so many times on the ground, I said there's a cause for this. You said there's a cause for this.
Yeah.
And you will say the cause is the gravitational force.
Laws of nature.
No, what is the cause? What is it?
Gravity.
Okay, what is gravity?
Well, it's something that can be measured. It's.
No, you measure the effects. You don't measure gravity. You measure the effects of it.
Right. Yes.
So what is this gravity? Have you seen this force?
Well, you can't see it with your eyes, but it can be tested and measured.
No, you measure the effects. You don't measure the force itself. You measure the effect it has on this.
I'm only interested in the effects.
So now you're not interested in the cause of this. So now I'm interested in the effects as well. Fossil records, all of this.
Yeah, but
now here's my alternative hypothesis.
Right.
The creator, the one who is all wise, created all of this. Not the flying spaghetti monster, it's the creator. So you shouldn't be interested in the cause. You should be interested, according to your own understanding, the effects. What do we see? We see the effects. We see life with all its variety, with its complexity, and with all its diversity. And I'm attributing all of this to a conscious being that has designed and organized and planned and put things there. The alternative hypothesis is All of this came through an unconscious, unplanned, undesigned way. Which makes more sense?
The sort of random chemical reactions that have developed over millions and billions of years.
Yeah. So if I show you the phone that you have a phone? You don't have to bring it. If you have a phone, it has two possible explanations for its origin. One is over random interactions of molecules of matter, okay, atoms, and if you break the atoms in the quantum level if you want. So what had happened was over billions of years, these atoms came together and they gathered together in this particular proportion and particular way of gathering, and it formed this. So there is no consciousness or design involved. There is no engineering, planning involved. This is one option. And the other option is a conscious process where intelligence was put in gathering, in accumulating and designing and putting it. So out of these two processes, I would go by the process which is intelligence behind. And you'd say, of course, intelligence is not necessary. It's all by random billions of years of by itself coming together. So you're more than welcome to keep believing in this, but in your real life, you will be always living this dichotomy, uncertainty and agnosticism. No, agnosticism. And I can guarantee the atheist, I can guarantee you are agnostic to these issues about certainty. You have no certainty in your life. You don't know. If I ask you, did nothingness create you? You haven't got a clue what to say, yes or no. You don't know. You'll be agnostic. Did you create the heaven and the earth? Did you create your own self? None of these questions you'll be certain enough to answer. You'll be uncertain. You'll be agnostic. You'll be skeptic.
Because we're humble, we should say we don't know. Does that mean we can fit wherever?
I've just told you these answers, you cannot certainly say yes. You will be saying, I don't know, I'm agnostic. So your position is one of total, the opposite of tranquility, where you don't know where you're going. You don't know what's going to happen to you after you die, because you hear people saying there's a life after death, but you don't believe there's a God and hereafter. So you're always going to remain in this agnosticism where you will have no tranquility in your heart. That's a guarantee. Yes. Your heart is always going to be always fluctuating between this agnosticism and uncertainty. Are you certain what's going to happen to you after death? That's precisely my point.
I'm pretty sure that I'll close my eyes for the last time and nothing. There won't be nothing experience to experience because.
How do you know that? How do you know?
Well, there's nothing on the contrary.
No. How do you know that once you die, that's the end of it, and that there's not something? How do you know?
Because there's nothing on the contrary.
I don't understand. You haven't been dead yourself yet. So how do you know that once you die, that there is no life after death afterwards? How do you know?
There's no indication of that.
What do you mean indication? You haven't died yourself.
No evidence.
Are you suggesting then people have to come from the death to tell you that there's life after death? This is a logical fallacy. This life, it's a logical fallacy. And to apply a logical fallacy and put that into your belief, saying, you know what, there is no life after death, you're actually living in this agnostic dream that, you know what, I am certain, but actually, that's in your dream. In your waking up state, you are totally agnostic of everything.
But doesn't the burden of proof lie on the one making the claim, though?
I'm not making any
not?
claim.
You're saying that there could be life after
No,
death.
I am not saying anything like that to you. I am saying your position is this. You do not know what to believe. Did something come out of nothing, or did something come out of something? If I ask you that question, you will be saying, I don't know. Do you think nothingness gave rise to this something?
I don't know what. I am humble enough to say I don't know what caused the Big Bang.
I just told you it's not a Big Bang.
I shouldn't fill it with anything
See,
else.
it's not a Big Bang. Do you? No, I am saying your position is one of total uncertainty. This life is a miserable life. No, it's not humble. It's a miserable life.
If I don't know something, then I don't fill it wherever I want to.
No, my friend, it's a miserable life. It's a miserable life. Yes. The life of An atheist, an agnostic, is a miserable life. Absolutely. Let me tell you how. Do you know for certain that this universe didn't come from something, but it came from nothingness? You don't know. Do you know? For certain.
I see no indication of
So no
someone
indication,
building
right?
it or designing it.
To put this question very,
Intelligent design.
very, plainly. Creator's existence is either creator exists or creator doesn't exist. Where does your belief lie? I don't know. Right? But the fact of the matter is, it's one of these two options. If you didn't know the right answer, you will have no tranquility in your heart, because when you die and the creator is one that exists, you will be in a total disaster.
It's a great form of control, isn't
It's
it?
not about control. It's your belief that's what you make it. No one's going to force you to believe in spaghetti monster, which I was arguing for earlier. No one's going to force you to. But people believe in it. People believe in this Mother Nature. God called Mother Nature. Why? Because this Mother Nature doesn't demand any control in terms of what? You don't have to lie. You don't have to cheat. You don't have to fornicate. Not fornicate. You know what? You can do whatever you like. This Mother Nature is more appealing to certain individual, saying, you know what? If I am religious, there are lots of restrictions what I can do. If I am not religious, not believing in a creator, then I can be my own God. I can just do whatever I think is right. I can make my desire my own God. Yeah? That's why Mother Nature, people believe in it, even though there is no evidence for Mother Nature being God. But people believe in it. You are in a position where you cannot tell yourself certainly, with certainty, this universe, which is something, is it possible that it came from nothingness? One day you think maybe it can. The other day you're thinking, how can it be? How can nothing generate something? It doesn't make sense. But then you're saying,
we can fill it with everyone.
no. Look at the instability of your mind. So the state of mind of an atheist and agnostic, as I said, is a state of misery. No tranquility.
Why?
One day you think and you justify. It's not about humility. One day you think and you justify yourself. Nothing caused something. But the next day you wake up and you're thinking, how can that be? How can nothing generate something? It makes no sense. But then you quarrel with yourself. If nothing didn't make something, then it's something else. What is that something? Oh my God. You see, God. I don't want to believe in God. That's the problem. So atheists and agnostic, you'll be surprised, they talk about God more than a lot of theists nowadays. Why? They're trying to fight it. You try to fight it, but it comes back to you and again. You try all the equations, that there cannot be God, a creator of this universe. And then at the end of the equation it says, there has to be a God. So you say, my equation is wrong, you start again. This is what scientists are doing. When they look at all the evidence for the fine-tuning of our universe, the life and its complexity and diversity and harmony, it shows you there's a designer, but they're saying, no, I cannot accept there's a designer. Yeah, I cannot accept it.
On the contrary as well. Did you know there's a nerve that goes from the brain and it goes to the voice box, but it doesn't just do that, it goes around the heart as well and then back to the voice box. So the intelligent designer wouldn't do that, it would just go straight there. And you see it in giraffes too. They actually a giraffe has been dissected and that same nerve goes right down the neck and then comes back up to the voice box. Right. So an intelligent designer
See,
would just do
look.
that short.
If you have a shortage on one of those legs of the stand, that will demonstrate to you, sorry, it's a very good stand I'm sure, that will demonstrate to you that this tripod is not designed. By looking at one thing and you think, it doesn't look like it's a perfect design, it means the whole system is not designed. Are you really suggesting there's nothing in your body that demonstrates the sign of a design?
I just told you that, no.
No, are you saying there's nothing? Are you saying the camera is better than the eye? Yet this is designed, these cameras are designed, but your eye, which is more complicated than the camera, it is not designed.
I don't see any indication.
Exactly. So all your body, when for example you have a cut, what happens is, nothing happens. Blood comes on and then all the blood drains off my body and I die. Actually that doesn't happen, is it? What happens instead is, when a cut happens on one of my blood vessels, immediately you will see processes. They come together. Fibrinogen, yep, the meshwork to form the clots. They come together and then they start forming a cork. It's like total mesh, and then seal it so that it's now sealed. And I would say that's not design. Yeah. So, for example, at the very minute, for example, now you're breathing. What's happening is you're breathing in air, nitrogen, oxygen, and other things in this air, and then it goes to your lungs. And what happens? The gaseous exchange is occurring, where these oxygens are going through your lungs and you exhale out. This system that is processing it, you'd say, this is no design.
Okay, can I just ask you one question? That's right. Have you been to Natural History Museum recently?
Before I go to Natural History Museum, let's talk about the lungs and the heart.
Have you been there? Can you just give me a...
I have.
I've been listening to you a lot.
I have.
You have, right. Have you seen the new whale, the skeleton of the whale in the main hall?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
Recently
Okay.
probably not.
Right,
Used to
okay.
be a dinosaur before.
Right, you see there's little bones at the back?
Yeah.
Where there's legs, like as it's sort of. Why would a designer put those little bones there?
That's not my
at the
question.
back?
You're
but why would
questioning.
a designer do that?
Now you see, you are actually committing a logical fallacy. Just because your idea of a design is that tripod should have a tail, for example, or shouldn't have a tail, doesn't make it not designed. If a whale has a tail or not a tail, legs or not a legs, it doesn't mean the whole whale is not a design. You, for example, you don't have tail now, the monkeys do, right? We human beings don't have a tail, but we have some tail bones. The tail bone does not in any way negate that our body demonstrates evidence of design. This is your logical fallacy you're committing. So the heart, for example, which pumps the blood.
It's a question that it is.
Please. The heart that pumps the blood with all the valves that allows the blood to go from one chamber to the other and closes in one way. You can't get the blood the other way because it's like this. Yeah? Tricuspid valves and others. Now, you can in your old dreams on your awakened state argue with yourself. There is no evidence of design in there. But the fact of the matter is, you'd know that this is a perfect design that does its job. The moment you are born and as you grow up until the moment you die, it does it without you controlling it. It pumps the blood throughout your life and it does it very well because that's the way it is designed. But you do two things. No, you do two things. You're saying first, there is no design in any of the organs in our body, and secondly, that design is not perfect. Who's asking for a perfect design? You are fit for a purpose, that's what it matters. If I say, for example, you know what, we'd better off having wings, you know what? That's probably a better design. No, you don't need to have wings for the purpose that you designed for. This is what we believe as Muslims, that we are fit for purpose. That's the way we're designed. So, doesn't matter now if you see, for example, we have tailbone, and it doesn't have the actions of a tail.
Why are some people born without limbs then?
Please. Are you suggesting those people who are disabled when they're born, they don't show any evidence of design within their body? Any evidence? In the hearing, the cochlea? In the cochlea itself, right? You know how we hear things and how it makes us balance. The reason you are standing is because of these things in your inside your ear, making the sense of balance.
Okay, so
that's not design.
You know, you say people are intelligently designed. So someone who's born
No,
without
I'm
limbs,
not saying that. I'm saying, why do you say you do not see any evidence of design within a human being when every single thing in your body demonstrate there's a design? Demonstrate there's a design. It doesn't. It doesn't. So, for example, when you eat food, what happens? The food goes in and comes out. There is no process involved to break it down into ATP, the energy, right? There isn't.
It was the species that weren't able to
you.
the ones that died off.
My friend, when you eat food, say an apple, the apple goes in and nothing happens. It just goes in, and when you just broke it down with your teeth into pieces, and exactly just comes out, or does something happen? Does it happen through a particular machineries which, because of the design of that machinery, it breaks down, extracts the energy, and then gets rid of the waste products.
Can you give me a moment, please? Do you know what reverse meaning is?
Tell me.
Reverse meaning is when you basically say that something's created. It's like people say camels have large hoofs, feet, hoofs, so they don't sink in the sand. What you should really be saying is that camels have large hoofs and they don't sink in the sand.
So is it designed for that
it's the
purpose?
ones with the small hoofs that are died off.
So it's designed for that purpose then? It's like a very good design not to sink on the sand. So you agree it's like a very good design. So now you have
seen certain species that have died off because they weren't able to adapt to the environment.
So you're telling me this is an evidence of design where it's fit for that purpose so that it doesn't sink in the sand. So you, for example, your food that goes inside your body, do you know how it's digested with enzymes? Do you know how your liver metabolizes and detoxifies things? And it's not a design. I mean, if you don't believe in any of that, I do understand your position. It's what is called reluctance. It's actually called some kind of...
Do you think everyone's born perfect?
No, I'm talking about this body that you have and the reluctance of yourself in accepting that there are systems within ourselves which are demonstrating evidence of design.
Do you think everyone's intelligently designed?
No. I am not saying it's designed. I'm saying, why are you reluctant to see the thing, every part of your body, your skin, the nerve endings, how the pain transmit from the nerve endings to the brain, and
survival mechanism.
It's not about survival mechanism. What I'm saying is, you are a system in which there are multiple layers and layers and layers of design, but you don't see it. I would like to know, why can't you see it when it's obvious?
Because the species before me who didn't have those functions died off.
You see, this camera, Canon camera, there are cameras that was made before this, right? Say in the 70s, for example. And I'm pretty much sure the 70s cameras weren't as good as this. Now, does that somehow prove that this camera doesn't demonstrate any evidence of design?
It does.
Okay.
We've got records of design.
What is it? Okay. What is it with this camera that demonstrates to you that it's designed?
What demonstrates it?
Yeah.
You've got records of blueprints of the materials, how it's put together.
So if you didn't have any of the records, if you didn't see anyone putting it together, you only saw the camera. No manuals, nothing, just the camera. And imagine, you don't read...
The probability is very strong.
No, let's understand something.
I didn't see this camera put together.
Yeah.
But I can confidently tell you that was intelligently designed.
No. What is it with...
I know how things are made.
You're not really examining the data. You are making up assumptions. You have the camera in your sight. You can examine it. You can see and break it apart. And you can see what the design has been put in. Rather than saying, from my experience, these things are made by manufacturers of cameras. So I could generalize that and say, this one also is made. This is an assumption from generalization, right? So I would say you are committing this logical fallacy of generalization. You are generalizing. Did you see that camera being made? No. This is generalization. You are generalizing by your assumptions of previous experiences that there are other cameras you've heard of being made or seen some of them maybe. You haven't seen this one made, but you are making a general conclusion out of what? This generalization principle. You haven't seen that made. But if you did not use this kind of logical fallacy of generalization, and you say, now let me look at this camera by itself, so I can open it up, break it apart into pieces, and see how they're put together, and see how it functions. Look at the result that it produces. You will see this is engineered. You don't know who is engineered. Imagine it didn't say Canon. It could be a generic camera, right? Because you don't know who made it, you would still say, definitely I'm certain there is knowledge and wisdom that has been put together in the engineering and manufacture and planning and designing of this particular piece which it does what it does. You would have no doubt in accepting that. You don't need to know Canon made it. You can still conclude by examining that piece itself that it has a maker. If you believed otherwise, that actually no. Things happened over billions of years by chance. No conscious process were involved. No conscious agents were involved. It just happened that it came together and then it formed that piece. There's some people who believe in that, but I don't think you would believe in that. You will say it makes no sense of such a piece to be put together like that.
There's many things that don't function that well, then they die off.
Your eyes are better than this. And yet, this has to be designed, but the eye is not designed. Your lungs, your heart, your brains, your ears, everything, nothing is designed.
I'm just going to see a friend now, but if, it's good talking to you, it's interesting. I urge you to look up two things: circular reasoning and also reverse meaning as well.
Yeah. Do you know that circular reasoning is something that we haven't applied, none of us yet? Reverse meaning is to do with what? Psychology. I'm saying I observe the data. Yeah? And then I say the cause for the data. That's not about reverse meaning. Okay, what's your name? David. Nice to meet you. With no hard feelings. I just did this in a harsh way. I apologize. It's just to shake you a little bit, saying, actually, sometimes I need to think beyond the box. Sure. That's all. We'll talk again perhaps another time. Yeah? Like Mansoor. Mansoor. You take care, my friend. Yeah? See you later. Sorry?
1, 2, 3.
I didn't read it. David did, saying the reason it was like this so it illustrates that the purpose of this flat feet was to make it not so. So demonstrating evidence of design. Anything in the creation. Anything in the creation, like yourself. Are you simply saying there is no evidence of design in your body? Then what are you trying to discuss?
I'm trying to discuss that